this agenda, when I saw it, I was telling Josh Levinson, is really, really exciting. I trust that today lived up to what expectations I bet many in the room had for this kind of synthesis taking place. And if it didn't, if it didn't to the extent that you may still be wondering, okay, how do we make all this come together? Even the last comment, a little bit of commentary that I heard about, how do we put the 100 acres together? How do we make this come together? What kind of catalyst has to be there in order to sustain it? How do we get to 20,000 acres and so on? What I wanted to do today is say to all of you, you have an open invitation from this administration to take your ideas, to take your plans, to take your proposals, no matter what context it may be in energy. I was with the WIRE folks today, women in renewable energy and alternative energy today, the chapter that's now on Maui. It was a year ago, just about a year ago now, that I gave one of my first speeches and discussions with the originating group of women in energy. It's fascinating, at least to me. Here's the gender discrimination that has existed up to this time. You take a look around the room here, there's gender equality here in the room. Although I dare say probably those who actually know what they're doing, it may be not really.
That's always the case.
Yes, right, exactly. The males are sitting there with smoldering resentment that it's caught up with them. And then the fact, and I was thinking to myself, and remarking over on Maui to former Mayor Tavares, that 5 years ago you couldn't have had such a lunch. You couldn't have had such a gathering because there wouldn't be enough women that could even begin to think of themselves as being decision makers and entrepreneurs in this field, and in the field of energy, renewability and alternative energy. It's one of the things I've learned over the last year. I was thinking primarily in some of you that know my New Day in Hawaii that I campaigned on energy independence. That was one of the things I said. Well, I've had energy independence. Well, that's easy to say. But then it turns out what we're really talking about is energy dependence with respect to carbon-based fuels, and what do we do about it in Hawaii in a practical way. And I used interchangeably the words renewable energy and alternative energy, and I've come to understand that they have to be seen in compatible terms and comparable terms, but it's two different things that we're talking about. A failure to understand that also decreases our capacity to be able to succeed with less energy dependence than we have right now in carbon-based fuels. And